Because you see, if our hearts are not right, we will go where our affections, our heart is. And that's why it has to be changed. And you see that principle right running through the Old Testament as well as into the New. Saints going out of the will of God because their hearts were not as they should be. They were going where their affections was. That's why you got the story of Samson. Samson was stubborn. He wouldn't listen to his parents. And so his heart goes off. And of course, Delilah, the Philistine, and it's nothing but trouble. His life was trouble. And we know the story. Eventually he's imprisoned and they pull out his eyes and so on. He gives the secret away to his strength to Delilah and they cut his hair. You know the story. He was doing what was in his heart. But God had to do something there. God had to change that heart. And we know in the end that he asked God, let me venge your name, give glory to your name. Let me have vengeance over my enemy, the Philistines. And of course, you know, he's led out by a boy. And he says, bring me between two pillars. And he places him there and he places his hands there. He feels them. And then he calls on God and the power of God again, because his hair grew again. You see why in prison. Because that's where his power was, the anointing. And he pushed against the pillars and the whole place came down and destroyed all the Philistines. But why go that way? Why be saved by the skin of your teeth? Because you're stubborn, willful. You don't want your heart changed. And sometimes we find that rises up. And when it rises up, you've got to get before God and say, Lord, please work with this heart. Change this heart of stone to a heart of flesh. There's areas of stubbornness, willfulness rising up in me. And if you mean business and you're crying from the heart, is God going to block his ears to that? Of course he's not.